2, 1.
Try and whittle that cord again.
I claim shenanigans.
Lots and lots of shenanigans. Hello, and welcome. It's Uncle Punky. It is Storytime with Uncle Punky. We are here again on a Saturday. But it's actually a pretty decent day in Michigan, which is a surprise because we've been bombarded with a random polar vortex. It's been ugly, it's been terrible, but welcome. We're glad you can join us. For those of you who are still frozen out in some parts. I, of course, am Uncle Punky. With me, as always, is Roger. I don't know if I got the memo on this or not, but this isn't Roger.
Yeah, just
You are. You look kind of familiar in the eyes.
Yeah, guest formerly known as Tim.
The guest formerly known as Tim. He was here for our car show.
Yeah, Hot Wheels and pop culture.
And you've lost your beard since then.
I did.
It got colder, and you're like, you know what? No.
Well, it actually froze.
It froze off.
It froze.
You just shattered it.
Yes.
Smashed it out, and it was fine. Excellent. Okay. Here's what we got going on today. We're going to talk about. Oh, it's important to me. It was big in the 80s. The 80s. We're going to talk about the 80s, but action 80s.
80s action?
80s action.
Even in the 80s, I got a little action.
I think everybody did in the 80s.
A little bit.
There was a lot of free love going on in the 80s. But we, it was big for, boys in the 80s because you could go and act out with your action figures and your toys, all these scenes and these cool movies that you'd watch with, all these idols and these bigger-than-life stars and explosions and helicopters, and that was the time to be alive, man.
Well, one of the best decades you could actually take your action film TV and buy and be part of it.
Yeah,
so
there was a lot of tie-ins with your movies as far as action figures, and there was a lot of video games that turned up. We'll talk about
then cartoons.
Those. And cartoons, of course, that tied in. Well, not for some of the bigger ones, but there was a few.
Right.
Anyways, of course, our sponsors, not sponsors, Puck Cider, we'll get a commercial in from them. I actually brought a bunch, so we have a bunch. Yeah, we have lots, but I got it hidden behind Tim. Maybe we'll crack one open by the end of the show. Anyways, those guys. I brought one. I have one for servicing purposes, which I'll crack open eventually. It's that kind of morning already. But so thanks to our sponsors, not sponsors. Puck Cider, of course, you can find them throughout Michigan now, and they're getting ready to take over towards Detroit area too. So look them up online. Yeah, Puck Cider, Schaefer Cider Company. Great bunch of guys. Great product. And make sure if you're watching the show, share and subscribe to us. That's the only way we can make it work and all connect to each other. We also a Tardy's Collector's Corner. I gotta thank Tardy's, of course. Gavin was nice enough to come on. We talked about comic books. And it was fantastic.
It was a good show.
It was a good show.
Yeah.
And you know what? And like I said, we are good friends. I see him at conventions, and I see him about town. I've known him for a long time. Him and his wife Deanna.
Oh, great.
But we've never actually we never get time to sit and just chit chat and talk. And I'm so glad we have this format to do so because I see so many people in passing, and it's like, oh hey man, how you been? Oh, that's great. What's new? Awesome. All right, I gotta go.
My kid's been sick.
I got kids. I got this. I got that. It's blah 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 blah, and it's just it's tough. So
getting to sit down and talk about someone's passions.
Exactly, and that's the point of the show. And I got some more announcements towards the end of the show. We got some things coming up, and people coming from out of town who want to be part of it, and which you're even gonna come.
I'm totally excited.
You're
about
excited,
this.
and we'll get information about that later. We'll go on that later on. First, as always, birthdays, important days of pop culture, and people who are related to pop culture, who means something to most of us. Like last week, we talked about some Universal monsters. On the 10th, 1906, Lon Chaney Jr., American actor, was a big part of Werewolf, Frankenstein after his father passed.
Okay.
He took up the mantle of a lot of characters. Excellent job. 1962, Cliff Burton, American heavy metal bassist.
Yes.
And then he died in 1986.
Tragically
in a bus accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a big part of Metallica for a long time when they were still really heavy.
Cornerstone.
They were a cornerstone. Like my metal through the 80s and stuff. I mean, that was Metallica. That was like my gateway.
Until the Black Album.
And then it was all the wheels
sold out.
After that. It got bad. 1967, Laura Dern, actress, director, producer. She's of Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Most recently in the most recent Star Wars 7. Which Star Wars are we up to? Last one was 8. Okay, last one was 8. I always forget. she is a pretty good actress. What bugs me about her neck. She's got a really long neck. And
telescoping neck.
It's so... She looks like the people who cloned Jango Fett in the prequels. That's what I'm like. Is she one of those folks that went up through the ranks or something? Could be. Maybe she's a clone of them in a human form. They took Jango DNA and those long neck people. You have Laura Dern. A little science for everybody today. 1967 as well. Vince Gilligan, American director, producer, and screenwriter. I don't know Vince Gilligan. Breaking Bad. Thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, my stepdad actually watched a lot of that show. I watched a bunch of it. Pretty violent, and it was cool.
I picked up bits and pieces of it. It just wasn't my bag.
Yeah, mine either. Like I said, good actors.
Yeah.
I liked what I saw when I watched it, but I just never got into it. I had all these other shows that I need to tackle and catch up with that I'm still really behind on. The 11th, 1947, Thomas Edison.
Thank you.
1847. Yeah, he still would have been alive. 1847. Thomas Edison. We wouldn't be able to do this show.
Yeah.
Had it not for him discovering things and being a part of our nation's birth and all that. An engineer, businessman developed the light bulb and phonograph in 1931. So we wouldn't be able to play vinyl with the lights on if it wasn't for Thomas Edison. And that's very important.
Tesla honorable mention.
Tesla honorable mention. Yeah. Or else we'd all be driving Teslas and such now. Yeah. 26, Leslie Nielsen. Canadian-American actor and producer.
Naked Gun series, 80s action.
Technically, 80s action.
Yeah.
Off the wall, offbeat action, but action nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly.
What the TARDIS is.
Naked Gun? Surely you can't be serious.
Yeah, Airplane, of course. The Airplane.
I am serious. Don't call me Shirley.
Sequels, are they? There wasn't never a trilogy. They should have trilogized the Airplane series, I think. And also, the movie Day of the Animals. You ever watch Day of the Animals?
I didn't.
He winds up shirtless, cursing God, and fighting a bear. That's wonderful.
That's macho.
Oh yeah. Well, it doesn't. It's not successful, but it has something to do with the heat, and the animals are affected, and it's a weird movie. So if you ever get a chance, Day of the Animals, Leslie Nielsen. It's not ha funny Leslie Nielsen that you want. It's not Spy Hard Leslie Nielsen.
Okay.
Right. It's like Dracula Dead and Loving It. So that tells you anything. 1936, Burt Reynolds, one of the finest mustaches to ever come.
One of my heroes.
He drove some of the most fantastic car on the planet. I mean, he's the man. He was the coolest guy.
He was the coolest guy.
He always had a shirt down to here, nothing but the chest hairs, the machoism.
Meatloaf hanging out.
Machoism.
Yeah.
All of it. 1969, Jennifer Aniston, American actress, producer from Friends and Bruce Almighty. I think those are the only things I know her from. She's done other things, don't get me wrong.
Oh, never mind.
Okay.
There was a horror movie she was in, like, early...
Oh, Leprechaun.
Yes, Leprechaun.
Yep, she was in Leprechaun. That's right. I always forget that. It's like Johnny Depp was in Nightmare on Elm Street. It was like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And then he just gets whacked pretty quickly. 1982, Natalie Dormer, English actress. She's in The Tudors, Game of Thrones, and she's been popping up in a few other things.
Yeah.
Lovely. Absolutely lovely girl. We were so... Game of Thrones, another one that we got, what? I think we binged up to 3 seasons, and they're like, all right, new stuff coming. We're like, other stuff. We're sidetracked.
Yeah.
The 12th, Judy Blume, Jewish-American author and educator, 1938. She was big in the RIF programs. I remember back in the day, a lot of Judy Blume books. The girls, that would be the young adults, girls section back in the 80s, 90s, and such. 1950, Michael Ironside, who was a Canadian actor-director. Man, I can't think of anything he's been in. He's been in so much.
Starship Troopers,
Total Recall, thank you. A lot of sci-fi stuff. He did a lot of stuff, 60s, 70s, weird sci-fi stuff. He just pops up in things. He's one of those actors, you need a grizzled actor for something.
Boom.
Get Michael Ironsides on the phone. 1956, Arsenio Hall.
Arsenio
Hall! To the dog pound.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, that was a phenomenon.
It was.
I didn't know much about Arsenio Hall. Coming to America.
Yep. Knew he was a comedian.
He was on Amazon Women of the Moon. He was in like one of the first segments in that movie, which is it's like Kentucky Fried Movie. You ever watch that one?
I know of it.
You need to seek him out on Amazon. I introduced my wife to them, and she was dying. She loved it. It's hilarious. It's that slapstick, like you're flipping through channels, kind of a pieced up comedy with a bunch of celebrities of that time, 70s, 80s, and stuff like that. So hilarious stuff. And Arsenio, he had a lot of interesting guests on.
Oh yeah, Ultimate Warrior was on.
Warrior, I remember he came out.
Oh yeah, one of the few times I ever saw Arsenio just kind of back up.
Yeah,
and
he's
go,
like, just looking at him, he's like, are you all right?
this dude,
Yeah!
this dude is on a
Like,
chemical rage. Let's just kind of hang out back
that
here.
was his thing. That was who he was. 1968, Josh Brolin, who has given us Goonies. He was in a movie called Old Boy. Of course, Thanos, Cable most recently.
Cable. Yeah.
He did play W. I already did a pretty good job in that.
Yeah.
I think I seen like a trailer for it. I'm like, oh, it looked like a comedy. I think it was like lightly a comedy.
Was it the whole decade of comedy?
The whole day. Yeah, actually, that whole presidency pretty much was cracking me up for the most part. Following that, 1980, Christina Ricci.
Woo!
Yeah.
Thank you, production staff. American actress and producer.
Yeah.
Of course, Addams Family.
Yep.
Casper.
Casper.
A lot of other dark things, Tim Burton related.
Yeah.
Lizzie Borden, most recently, I think she did. She had a series.
I think she
about
took
Lizzie Borden.
what Winona Ryder had and took it a little further.
Yeah, she
There's-
just continued on from Winona Ryder.
Yeah.
Well, Winona Ryder's kind of gone back. She's going to be in
Yeah,
the
she's
sequel
come
to
back.
Beetlejuice.
Yep.
Stranger Things. of
Stranger. I
course.
love
So-
her in Stranger Things.
Yeah, I started watching. I'm like,
She
Winona
played
Ryder.
the role for her in that is just the basket case, like
The
losing
basket
her
cake
mind.
Well, a lot of that probably she took from real life.
Yeah, well,
Let's be honest. On the 13th, 1923, Chuck Yeager, American general and pilot, first test pilot to break the sound barrier.
Boom.
That's really fat. Boom. Boom. Say no more. Tim just dropped the mic on us. So we'll move on from that.
fastest man.
1944, Stockard Channing, American actress. Stockard Channing was in Grease?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Rizzo.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, I remember.
I Hate You from Kanicki's like a Hallmark card.
I have Grease on vinyl. My daughter, my 14-year-old, loves it.
Yeah.
And then, honestly, that's one of my favorite musicals.
Grease is the word.
Grease is the word. It gets a little homoerotic when they're building the car.
Well,
the Grease lightning.
when you start, yeah.
When they're
Yeah.
going Grease lightning.
Go Grease
yeah, it gets a
lightning,
little wanky.
going up the-
yeah.
yeah.
We practiced that before the show for like 20. That was our. That was the length.
That was our
of it,
dance
don't get any more.
sequence. That
Jerry
was it.
Springer, 1944, English-American television host, actor, and politician.
Yeah, mayor.
56th mayor of Cincinnati.
Yes.
And smut peddler, I guess. I don't even know. I was on his show. Well, not on, I wasn't a guest on his show. I mean, right before anybody goes digging on YouTube, I attended one of his tapings of his show. We lived in Chicago, and there was this. I remember it vividly, and we haven't been able to find it. I think one of our friends we live. Anyways, there's like 6 of us in this row. And Jerry's out, he's doing comedy, and he's just chit-chatting with people. He's like, hey, blah, 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 throwing out puns, and he's a charming guy. He's very cool. And then, it's show on, and he's still just kind of very aloof and, Jerry-like. But there's this guy named Speedy who was dating this woman. Found out, on the show, of course, I'm really a man. Oh! Everybody loses their goddamn mind. Ooh, yeah. There's a guy on the side. His job is to, come on, everybody. Yeah. They're like, keeping it going. They're trying to get this crowd pumped up into like this weird rioted frenzy. So it's like bizarre to like take in this whole, because it's what it is. Speedy comes across the fucking way at this man, whatever it was.
Person.
Things are getting torn off, and it's just disturbing, and his junk's kind of like tucked and packaged weird. He comes running down the aisle. And my friend is roughly your size. We call him Coop. Big guy. He's like, name for a big he does one of these. He's backing up. I'm behind him like, oh! We got a row of friends. We're all like, oh, Jesus. We're like, Lord, no. Running up, and she's like, it was just wild.
Oh, man.
If you ever get to do any kind of Jerry Springer experience, that's one to go on. And on the way out, I saw Oprah in the parking lot. Just like going out to her car. Hey-o, what up, girl? She didn't say anything. 19.
And you get a car. You get a car.
She gave us all cars.
Yeah.
And then we left
Tell
happily.
me you actually said, what's up, oh.
No, I said, I waved and hi, Oprah. I mean, what else are you going to do in that situation? It's Oprah. You're like, oh,
yeah.
Oprah. Maybe she'll just throw wads of money at me. I was assuming that would happen. She's Oprah.
Our next president of the United States.
Oprah. No, I saw some meat. Well, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to do political stuff. 1961, Henry Rollins, singer, songwriter, producer, actor, monologuist, poet, you name it. Of course, he started off in Black Flag.
A liar. No.
A ghostwriter, a liar.
A cop.
He's done all kinds of phenomenal things.
He really has.
Brilliant to listen to. I know he's traveled around doing his spoken word and stuff like that. And he's come into town a few times.
Yeah, yes.
Dynamite stuff. And he's a pretty funny guy. He was also in Johnny Mnemonic.
Yep.
And a few other good, weird sci-fi movies or direct-to-video and a couple horror films and stuff.
he delivers dry, and you can tell everything is incredibly thought out.
Oh yeah, no, he's had plenty of time to. I mean, he did some jail stints and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
well.
Just a huge guy. I mean, he was just a big, intimidating looking.
Well, yeah,
guy.
he's a tall guy.
Like he was just a monster.
No,
with his tattoos.
he's taller than Danzig. Taller than Glenn.
Which isn't
I've met both of them. They're both really short.
Really?
in comparison.
Like,
Weird.
Henry?
Brown
I never would have thought
hair
that.
on me.
Really?
Wow. Yeah, I never would have thought that.
Okay, his.
By the way, the audience can't see up to here on me with
No.
people talking behind
Right.
us. But
Maybe we can find a picture and post that.
yeah, we'll put him side to side with Justin. That'll be great. On the 14th, 1934, Florence Henderson, American housewife, actress, and singer.
Cooking show. She had a cooking show.
She had a cooking show. She did.
Yeah.
She tried to teach America that she was more than just
Greg's side piece.
Really, his beard. That's what she was on the show. 1948, Teller. That's
Of
it.
Penn and Teller.
Magician.
Yeah.
That's it. Teller, magician. It says actor. He just kind of showed up and
He does,
didn't
yeah,
say. Oh, I mean, what?
He shows up in things.
But what act? I mean,
He says words in Atlas Shrugged.
does he really?
Yeah,
Never watched
like
it.
5.
Never seen it. He says 5. Well, okay, if you want to hear Teller speak, Atlas Shrugged. That's the way to go.
I did
now
not
I'm gonna
know
have
that.
to watch. I want to know what he sounds like.
Right.
Hi, my name's Teller. It's just some
Watch, he's a
ridiculous.
deep baritone.
Hello.
Yes.
My name's Teller. I've been doing magic for 40 years. Wow. Didn't expect that to happen. 1992. Oh, just a little fella. Freddie Highmore. English actor. He was in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. The most recent remake with the Johnny Depps
I have
and the
a
Burtons.
different, I have an opinion about that movie.
Not a fan?
Not a
Not
fan.
a huge fan either.
No.
I didn't feel it.
No.
Not like I felt, not like the first one. I mean, the first one's got
The
nostalgia
amazing-
and
oh,
everything for
gosh.
me, and it's amazing, and it's dark, and it's got a lot of things to it.
It does.
But the other one's kind of sugar coated.
It
Pun intended. Right.
dark sugar.
Dark sugar. Some dark chocolates in there.
That's a stripper name.
Well, he's in
You're calling it now. I claim it.
Yeah.
Bates Motel.
Bates Motel. Oh, was he?
Yeah, he played Norman.
Really?
Yeah. Actually, yeah.
I'm so behind on things.
He's in the Good
I didn't know that was
Doctor,
still a
autistic
show.
Surgeon, which is just weird.
Huh. Fantastic. All right. 1564. Oh, that's way back. Galileo. Galilei, Italian astronomer, physicist.
Galileo.
Right.
Now we
Figaro.
have
Famous for Queen. Yeah, that might be our oldest. Yeah, I think
is
so.
now.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, we went back as far as I think the 20s, 18s,
No,
something
we
like
did,
that. 1818s.
17
Yeah,
something
1564.
for
That
Amadeus.
is our oldest so far. And he died in 1642, so he's
Amadeus?
still the oldest. Rock me, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Falco references came
Yeah.
in the past couple weeks. Locally, 1935, Roger B. Chaffee.
Hey.
There's a road named after
Yes,
him here in
he is
Grand
a
Rapids,
big name
Michigan.
here in Grand Rapids,
American
Michigan.
lieutenant, engineer, and astronaut. So we're very proud of that.
Very proud. He's got a
The
huge
road
section of
named after
road.
it used to be the runway of the old airport.
And now it's industrial.
And I used to use it as a drag strip.
Yes.
Nice!
So,
That's right. That's how we do things. Come visit Grand Rapids. We drag race in places named after astronauts. 1955. I'm terrible at reading today. Christopher McDonald, American actor. I don't know what he's from.
Greatest golfer in the world, Shooter McGavin.
Oh,
Oh.
my God!
Yeah.
You be pieces of shit for
yeah.
no. God, that's such a great line too. Yeah, and he's been in a variety.
He's
of things.
cameoed in everything. He's
Yeah.
a good.
He
good,
shows up and stuff.
and he usually plays a douche.
He was such a douchebag in that.
Yeah, he's
oh
just-
my God, Billy Man. Hands
The,
down,
the
that's
consummate
my-
douche.
Yeah, but that's the one that you could go. Oh,
Yeah.
Shooter McGavin. Gotcha. Okay. 1964. Breaks my heart. Chris Farley. Comedian, actor. Hilarious. Beverly Hills Ninja, Saturday Night Live. All his little cameos and Adam Sandler stuff.
Died in December of
When was it?
97?
97. It was 97. Yep. Adam Sandler just recently had that special on Netflix. Did a song about Chris. Had
Really?
a bunch of images and stuff behind
Oh.
him, and I heard that's a really good special.
to
Surprisingly,
check it
Adam
out.
Sandler hasn't done. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Since I mean, his movies are like families and stuff. They're funny. You can
It-
tune out and just okay.
You can see the progression of his
To adulthood?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
But he goes back to this like comedy roots and doing music and stuff like that and stand up,
Sure.
and it's really really cool. It's actually
Some
really
lunch
dope.
lady land.
Yeah, well, yep. Chris Farley clips
Yes.
of him doing that, which
Yep,
is just
as the
beautiful.
lunch lady.
The lunch lady was wonderful. 57, LeVar Burton, German-born American actor, director, producer.
Butterfly in the
Ford,
sky. Yeah, the Reading Rainbow.
Reading Rainbow.
See, I really threw
Or
me
Star
for a
Trek.
curve. He's black.
He
He's
is.
German.
No, yeah. I'm like, that's not possible. Can't be black and German. They had a whole war about that, I think.
Yeah, pretty,
Right.
well,
Loosely. 1958, Ice-T, American rapper and actor.
OG.
This is a good week.
Body Count.
It is a good week in Burst. Yeah, Body Count. Still, they got back together.
Yes, they have.
They were doing some
They
stuff.
just did
They're
a.
touring this summer.
Yeah,
just did an
and
album.
that was some. I remember they got banned. They had that album was banned, and they couldn't play
Yes.
stuff on MTV, and they were just hardcore.
It was.
It was hardcore.
Yeah.
Ice-T, which nobody expected. You're like, what? Get out of here! And you listen to it. You're like, oh,
This is
brutal.
Yes.
Everybody was all bent out of shape about Cop Killer.
Cop Killer was the
What
one.
about the song KKK Bitch?
Yeah, that was.
Same album.
No Lives Matter just came out.
Yeah, they don't like anybody. That was their thing.
No.
I mean, they were just out to just offend, tell it
Yeah.
like it is. They were just
Body
hard
count,
and fast.
literally.
They were taking body
Just
count.
take everybody.
Yep, absolutely. 1964, Christopher Eccleston, English actor who is from. Usually my production staff's all over this. Christopher Eccleston. I don't know who he is.
He was the Ninth Doctor.
Oh,
Doctor Who.
see, another
Oh.
He
Doctor
was
Who.
Raymond Calitri in the remake of Gone in 60 Seconds.
Is he in here? He's not in the TARDIS still, is he? I don't know who he is. I apologize. In 1989, Elizabeth Olsen, one of the many Olsens.
Yes.
I
The,
believe
the,
Olsen-
Olsen,
the youngest of the Olsens.
The least famous Olsen?
No, she's like the most famous Olsen now. She's like
Scarlet
surpassed.
Witch, man.
She surpassed.
She what?
She's a
Scarlet
Scarlet
Witch.
Witch,
Oh, yeah.
and she was also an old boy with Thanos.
Yeah.
And a few other things. And I think she's wonderful. She doesn't even really look like the other two, which is thank God.
Thank God.
'cause those guys are scary. What happened to those? Full House did a number on them, and it was awful. All right, here's what we're going to do. Today we mentioned we're going to talk about the 80s. 80s action, 80s TV, 80s movies, and we've compiled our own lists.
Yeah, we have.
Because, well, it was
Painstakingly
incomplete. It really was.
put together lists of.
And I will disclaimer right now, Star Wars isn't on anybody's list. I mean, it is. It was Empire, so it was a follow-up to Star Wars.
Right.
And Empire was huge. Huge. And it was a big part of my life. You love it. Production staff loves it.
Loves
so,
it.
obviously, Star Wars is there.
It's there.
It was an important part of 80s action. Because
Ewoks.
the toy line that went with it from the 70s that continued on, you had the big electronic AT-ATs and everything else,
Ooh,
and it
yes.
was just...
I forgot all about those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what my wife's favorite from my wife's favorite is AT-AT. I love all the series. She loved when they showed up in Rogue One. Well, like a version of it in Rogue
Yeah.
One, and then the newer ones, they had those weird AT-ATs with like knuckles that like buckled down to shoot things in the face, and they were terrifying. But just the toy lines that went with it, I mean, that made it such a huge part of
Oh, gosh, yes.
action 80s. I know it's sci-fi, but I mean, I guess we could clarify it. Action has many levels.
Oh, yes.
Action adventure, action fantasy, action sci-fi. I mean, I guess superheroes technically have their own categories.
Yes.
Action animation. I mean, the anime. There's many levels. So we just kind of went nondescript. With it. I'll start with my list. We'll go with my list
Great.
first. Okay.
That sounds good.
I started with Batman. Batman.
1989.
That was my first view of Batman.
Michael
was
Keaton.
Michael Keaton. I mean, yeah, we had the '66 one and the campy TV show, but even as a younger age, I'm like, okay, that's kind of hokey.
Yeah, it's
You know what I
hokey
mean? It's
and
like,
old and
okay.
blah.
Right. But then you had that with Jack Nicholson, was a magnificent Joker.
Oh, by far.
And they went with a weird storyline of the Joker telling, which obviously has been so skewed over the years.
Right.
But Michael Keaton, everybody's like, really?
Yeah,
But he
you
was
would.
great.
He ended up doing Birdman in the last couple of years.
Yeah, that was kind of like a throwback to him
Yeah.
being a Batman
Batman,
character,
yeah,
which
exactly.
was.
So
But he had
leading
the
to Vulture?
right, yeah, you're right. What was it? You live long enough, or you be the hero long enough to see yourself become the villain, or something like that.
Something like that.
Whatever that line is. That's ironic because it happened.
Yeah.
Second on my list, I know this made a few lists. I don't know who all did the list, but we all think the same. We're all the same mind as far as the '80s because that's where we're from. Die Hard. Die Hard was an action.
The
Straight
hardcore
action.
right from the get.
Every one of the movies. I mean, we're not going to go off into the 90s and stuff, which I was reminded that Die Hard 2 was 90. I thought it was 89. I thought I could sneak it in there, but
Well, how many of the 80s actually carried their series through the 90s, into the 2000s?
right. Besides like your horror genres and stuff,
Well, yeah.
which has their dime a dozen, and you had
No-
like 300
Yeah.
of each one.
Nightmares of
But they
Jason.
started off hard and fast, and they ended hard and fast. And just the whippy banner, you had the smarmy, everyday guy who's
Yeah.
just in the wrong place.
Yeah, John
well,
McClane
right place at the wrong
completely,
time, I guess. But
completely just trying to make it to Christmas.
I just want to see my kids and spend
Yeah.
Christmas, and I wind up killing a bunch of terrorists.
Yeah.
Next on my list is, I guess, kind of a rarity, Buckaroo Banzai. Have you ever seen it?
I have seen it, and
Been a while.
it's the fun part about it is that you brought it up, and I instantly kind of reminisce about it.
Yeah, Jeff Goldblum,
It's insane.
Paul
dude.
Reiser, Peter Weller, who
It's
played RoboCop.
yes.
Also Clancy Brown, who is the voice of many things. He wound up in the Punisher series.
Yep.
He was Surtur in the Thor Ragnarok, and it had this weird cast of these '80s people, and it's about physics and space and time. And I don't know why Jeff Goldblum's like a singing cowboy, and it's just so odd in the style of it. You know what I mean? It's rad. It's the '80s.
It is.
You know what
It
I
is
mean?
the '80s.
Just from that image alone, it's the '80s.
The bad part about it is that even the picture for reference, I'm like,
Yeah.
did we just walk into a club? Because that even Jeff Goldblum's cowboy character, you're like, all right.
Right. That was, people got away with wearing that stuff back in the day. It's like the outfits in which actually it's next on my list, so we'll cover that in a minute. This one is Super Fuzz. A lot of people aren't familiar on Super Fuzz.
I am not.
I had it on a VHS tape that my mom had rented me, and I think I saw it on TBS or something. This was 81, something like that, so I couldn't have been more than 6.
All right.
But I saw it, I fell in love with it, and I would always watch it. It was about a cop who wound up with like these superpowers. I don't remember much else. I mean, it had some action and stuff, but it sticks in my mind so vividly. The movie Super Fuzz.
I'm gonna have to check out Super Fuzz.
And I think it's like one of those rarities where it's kind of tough to find. Like you can find it, but I think you got to do some digging either
All right.
way, and it's kind of tricky. All right, last one on my movie list. Okay, I should probably clarify. Those were obviously '80s movies.
Yeah.
Howard the Duck. He's getting some new love from Kevin Smith nowadays. They're gonna put it on Hulu as a series, probably animated. But Howard the Duck.
The fun part about it is, like, Howard the Duck, I thought I was going to be a little cheeky. I thought I was like, yeah, Howard the Duck, I'm going to keep this on my list, have this on my list. Because it was way out.
It was even an obscure character for Marvel.
Sure.
I mean, but it was still a popular Marvel character at the time because it was like this weird just offshoot of the superheroes.
Yeah.
And he got into this interdimensional oddness, traveling through space and time. And then just like I said, the fashion and the music of the 80s, and they're like in some punk club, but she's singing ballads, and it's just, it's got a lot of everything too, and it's ridiculous, and it's got George Lucas's name on it, which is even hilarious, and duck boobs, which I could have really done without my youth.
Duck boobs.
That really kind of, it made me question a lot of things when I was younger. It's like, do ducks have boobs? I'm confused about them. They do not.
No.
They do not.
You find a duck with boobs.
If you find a duck with boobs, you are in the wrong neighborhood,
leave it be.
for one. All right, as far as television goes, this is all things that we grew up with. I think, like I said, a few of these cross over on the list. The A-Team was your action 80s. You had a comedic character. You had the handsome guy. You had the general, older, wiser of the group, and the badass. Specifically, B.A., the badass.
Badass. They had to have known that they did that. There was no accident.
It was intentional for whatever
BA.
reason. They just rolled around in a van and just blew shit up.
Yeah.
That was it. Or they were in some kind of circumstances. It's like, well, we need a plan to defeat whatever's going on situation-wise. Give me 3 minutes.
There's 20 people outside that are going to try to conquer this village, so we need a bulldozer, but we have a Cadillac and some barrels.
So here's what we're going to do.
Yeah.
It was early MacGyver.
In many
Animals,
cases,
they're like, what do we got? Well, we got some sheet metal. I think we can tear down part of this barn.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Yep.
And then they had a nail gun that they used for a weapon. Like,
Yeah, that's their main weapon.
Yeah, whatever.
They got an air tank in the back, all just...
Spitwads. This is working great. Next on my list is sci-fi action. Okay. The action was somewhat limited to certain episodes. It got more action-packed in certain areas, and then towards the end was V, starring Mark Singer. And Robert Englund was in as well.
I know of
Willie.
V.
It was lizard people.
Yes.
It was the conspiracy theory of lizard people come to Earth, and we make friends with them, or we're trying to have peace trees. They look like us, so they're all cool, but then suddenly, lizard people.
Right.
Underneath.
They actually brought that series
They tried to.
They really tried. They tried to bring
did.
life back into it. And
But
actually,
they
I
just
picked
tried
up
to
on it.
update it. I mean, it seemed cool out of the gate, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like, But it just didn't have that same feel to it. And Robert Englund, as that weird Willie character, was always just comic relief for the most part.
Weird Willie?
Weird Willie.
Yeah.
I think that was his
That's
name.
comic relief right there.
It's just the name alone. Next on my list is Miami Vice. Soundtrack alone is 80s.
Now, I
Jan
had to...
Hammer.
I had to sneak this because what did it come on at like 9?
Yeah. Yeah.
And especially, yeah. Oh god, I gotta be in bed.
Yeah.
So whenever that was parents aren't looking, sneak back out in the living room, take it.
Edward James Olmos. You had they had the boat shoes, the no socks.
Oh yeah,
pastels, suit coats, feathered hair. The soundtrack was that that very intense. Always busting somebody for cocaine and driving the sweet cars.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, you're like, yeah,
that's
cool. You're like, that's so cool. Cops are cool.
Cops are great. Narcs are awesome.
Right. I want to be a narc.
Yeah.
Next one was about an investigation agency, which gave us one of our titular heroes of the 80s, your everyman, but he was funny as hell. On Moonlighting with Sybil Shepherd. It was Bruce Willis. They were always butting heads, but there was so much sexual tension.
There was.
It was that Sam and Diane kind of a dynamic.
Did you watch the roast?
Of Bruce Willis?
Yes.
Yes, it was fantastic. And
Sybil Shepherd came out hard.
Yeah.
She came out so hard.
She did, and that's the point of them, and that's what makes those shows great. And Bruce took it good. Even Demi came out. And
Oh yeah, gave him a good
But
punch.
of course, he was doing that. This is pre-Hudson Hawk.
The
return of Bruno when he was doing his musical career.
The musical career.
Blowing the harp, as it would be. I think that's it for my list.
Shooting pool.
Oh no, I had one more. And this kind of went through this late 70s.
Late 70s into the early 80s.
So, but I didn't really click onto it till the 80s, was The Incredible Hulk. Bill Bixby. The Incredible Hulk. And Lou Ferrigno, of course, was that image of Incredible Hulk with his terrible Prince Valiant haircut. The haircut's bad. It's just silly.
With the visual we have on the screen, the Prince Valiant hair. Oh, good gosh, man. Yeah, totally.
I mean, but it's not like in the comics where he was this massive he was just a big guy.
Big dude.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Bixby was just a little fella.
Little average.
It worked out for the time, and it was great for, kids like me who's just got their Mego Hulk figures and their Spider-Man's like, ha ha ha.
Exactly.
You do the walk, the walk of shame with your thumb out. Let's do your list now.
All right.
I think you have a good one as well. So, Tim, take it away.
Well, Lethal Weapon. Some that actually, Mel Gibson actually makes a couple appearances in my list because
he was there.
He was 80s.
Yep.
Mullet and all.
Yep.
What can you say more about exploding toilets and
jean jackets?
Jean jacket.
Yeah, they almost killed him on a toilet. You gotta look at the script that day, and you're coming in, and you're like, so I gotta sit in a toilet. And they're bombing it. All right.
How much are you getting paid?
Mel's gonna rescue me, and I gotta look like an asshole. Okay, great.
Yeah, exactly.
$3 million. All right.
Yeah, all right.
I'm too old for this shit.
I'm too old for this shit. It gave us a lot of great,
Was there
the
4 or 5 of the Lethal Weapon series?
4.
There's 4.
Yeah, and then they want to make it a series about it recently.
Yeah, the television series.
With Sean William Scott's in it. One of the Wayans, Damon Wayans.
I watched so little of it.
I haven't either.
The bad part about it was slowing down.
Like, why? That was my
exactly.
question. So,
why?
Fox.
Because Fox.
Next one, Terminator. How can you go wrong with Terminator? Schwarzenegger came out, and you couldn't have picked a better person to play the Terminator.
A robot.
Yeah.
A very stiff,
so mechanical.
Robot, very acting and everything. You know, just the way he walked, he just had that forward march, just shoulders out.
I think was it Conan?
Conan.
Yeah, when he played Conan, no, you could actually see the best place for Arnold is a robot.
Yeah, and like I said, some of the best catchphrases came out of the 80s. Well, you know what? In the second segment, we're going to cover some of those.
Well, I think the biggest thing about catchphrases is we were all kind of watching the same stuff, and like today, when everyone's on tablets, this, that, the other formats, there's no relativity.
No.
So
no, and there's still things I can quote today. People.
Yeah, you can tell how old they are by going,
You know what? Hey, I'll be back. Oh well, look at you, Schwarzenegger. Right, it stands the test of time.
Mel again. Yeah, Mel again.
On your list.
And actually, it really just goes with Mad Max 1. Beyond Thunderdome, but that's where I got introduced to Tina Turner.
Really?
Yeah,
it
was Beyond Thunderdome.
That was my mom.
Yeah?
Oh yeah, Rolling on the River.
Yeah. Oh yeah?
Ike and Tina, yeah.
I wish my mom would have actually had her soul days by the time, but when I was growing up, she was country.
Okay.
And I did everything in my power to try not to listen.
To prevent that, yeah. Like tried to save her.
So
my mom married into country.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of classic rock and stuff. And
Classic rock.
She used to be punk rock. She used to go to punk shows. Yeah. Where I get it from?
one of Michigan's own characters, enough that he has a statue in the city of Detroit.
Somewhere.
A RoboCop. Somewhere.
I don't know where it's at.
I
We've
thought
been in
it-
Detroit a few times. I don't know where it's
I
at.
thought it was actually down by the police station.
Might be. That might still
I'm
be
not-
down there. It's been a while. I mean,
I don't
last time we
know.
were down there, we were looking for
He
other
isn't a
stuff.
repressive hero, a repressive figure now. So
Maybe after the
maybe-
reboot, they're like, you know what? no,
Yeah,
let's,
just
let's
kinda,
put that thing inside.
yeah.
Let's go put it in the back. But yeah, RoboCop. That was. I mean, he was the cop, but it was still. I mean, he couldn't do much. Like they were talking about putting him in a fighting game, the new Mortal Kombat.
They should.
But
In
why?
Shaggy, but that's another side
They're
story.
talking. Even the creators are like, we're not putting Shaggy in this. No, but there was rumor that you're gonna put RoboCop in it, but he doesn't do anything. He's got a gun.
He doesn't fight. Yeah, you should do. Boop, 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 boop.
But I mean, if you put him in a fighting game, you gotta have him do something. But he's still got that. I mean,
Yeah.
like the Terminator had movement about him for a robot. you know?
RoboCop let the Terminator look like a river dancer.
He really did because it was very, oh, I am a robot. Very robot. He was
Yes.
more robot than
More
cop.
robot, yeah. Man head, robot body.
Right, exactly. Another cop.
Yes. Well, action. The
Loose
80s.
cop. Very
loose cop.
independent lone wolf. Don't play by the rules.
Cobra. What, now there's a lot of Sylvester Stallone movies could easily made my list, but
right.
Cobra,
This is a good one.
Cobra was
Yep.
probably my favorite, the baddest Mercury I've ever seen. His car was insane.
I ran around thinking I was Cobra. I had the cool little, toy gun back in the day.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, dude, if
The
it was, like I
gloves
said,
and-
when I was
yep.
in an action movie, I became that character.
Yep,
when I
throw
was
the
young. Me and my
aviators
friends
on
were,
and-
like, run around the house and out in the woods and just doing,
Yeah, your friends kidnap the little girl down the street that you like, and then
Right.
now you have to go and be Cobra to go
Some of his
rescue
little
them.
sisters, the kidnap, right, yeah, whatever. But Cobra was a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a lot of action to it, too. And, I mean, yeah, like we said, he did Rambo and some other things, and he could have picked that one easily because everything blew up in Rambo.
I still remember the one of the kidnappers had that knuckle knife with a big A-shaped blade, and they just pan over it and he's sharpening it.
Yeah.
In the back, I think it's in the back of the van. And oh man, that was so good.
It's just badass.
There's everything about this badass.
That was your movie list.
That's my movie list.
On to television.
On to television. Now,
This one may be obscure for some people.
this is going to be obscure for a lot of people.
I watched it.
Hardcastle and McCormick. The idea of Judge Hardcastle throwing pity on McCormick for pretty much a bad setup.
Okay.
He was a bad dude, but he got set up.
Sure.
So
He did
here's your
deserve what had happened
scapegoat,
to him.
and
Sure, yeah.
and then to go and fight crime
As a
and-
duo.
As a duo,
Judge
Here.
and a convict.
Yeah, Con, come live in my house, and you can see this red car.
What
yeah,
was that? It was
the Coyote.
A coyote.
The Coyote was actually based off of a Porsche. So,
I want to say I've seen a few of those on Facebook Marketplace.
yeah,
Or
actually,
there's a few that are similar.
they were
with the
very
gull
similar.
wings
Yeah,
and that are just
the Brazil and
Facebook Marketplace. I've said it before.
and most of the cars in the series were actual kit cars.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. Just throw one together
Yeah,
for it.
boom.
Yep.
A-Team again.
What
How
can
can
you say, dude?
BA.
There was an explosion per episode. That's what every boy wanted. That's what everybody. That's what you wanted. when you watched
I
TV.
kind of live my life between Face and Murdoch.
I was more of a Murdoch.
Well,
I'm
Face.
still to this day.
When I'm trying to sell stuff and do the adult life,
Yeah,
you got to
Face.
throw Face on and
But
then-
hanging out with your friend buddies
I'm
and stuff.
so-
All Murdoch.
all Murdoch.
Did you watch the remake? that they
Yes,
did
the movie.
with the Liam Neeson's.
Yes.
And, that was really.
That was
good.
really good.
Yeah, my wife and I still go back and watch it. It was funny, and it
Oh,
had a
yeah.
lot of the elements, and it was done pretty well.
I
And
think it was
they
done
did a
amazingly
good
well.
choice as the face.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? But I like that they had a little bit more dynamic of a relationship with Hannibal because they've been together so long.
Yeah.
You know, and what's his name is Murdoch. Knocked it out of the park. It was amazing. Can't think of his name right now. Oh, Charlton Copley, who was
He
in
did
Hardcore
amazing.
Henry.
Okay,
and
yeah.
he was in. Oh, he's great in District 9.
okay.
Amazing actor. Amazing actor.
Versatile.
And your next one, I'm excited about. I
Fall.
used to watch. This made me want that profession.
Yes. How do you want to be every kid wanted to do something crazy.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a stuntman. Matter of fact,
Yeah.
on my Instagram it says Stuntman Tim.
Nice.
So like Fall Guy,
Yep.
Heather Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, first crush.
Lee
Probably
Majors.
Lee Majors, the $6 Million Man or $1 Million Man.
The theme song was cool.
Yeah,
that's
he actually
very
sang.
kinda-
Lee Majors
Lee
sang
Majors
the
sang it.
song.
Yep. And he had that cool Jeep.
We had the truck.
It had the truck.
The
but
truck-
didn't have like the Fall Guy logo on it too.
The Fall Guy
Right.
logo on
Yeah.
the hood, and on the side of the box, you could actually there
They
was a
had made
door.
action figures for it.
Yes, I have.
I had some-
I
did
have
you?
I still have a
Do
metal
you?
Fall Guy truck and a little tiny one that's in my truck
next time you
outside.
come in, maybe you know what? When we go in intermission, you can bring the low in it. we got to show that off. That's brilliant. That's awesome. That made me want to be a stuntman too.
Oh, yeah.
Without solving crimes.
Well, stuntman bail bonds. Now the closest I've ever got is I actually was a repo agent.
nice.
But
All right.
so it's kind of like, yeah, you owe us money, we're taking your stuff. But one day I'd love to be I'd still love to do some
Sure.
crazy stunt.
I did this.
I wanna
thing
make
with
a
my
car
family.
fly.
It was super Saturday family stunt day. I actually jumped off the roof of a garage onto a moving truck one day wearing like a jumpsuit. Kids are all yay! It was,
Where is this video?
yeah, I'm sure the wife could probably take it up. It's,
Okay,
it's
please.
brief. It's not. It's nothing like. It looks more. You know, if we edit it, like add an explosion behind it.
Yeah,
or
put an
something,
explosion
yeah.
behind it.
Yeah, we'll doctor it up a little. We'll
Yeah.
make it look great.
Knight Rider.
You can still buy this. This is for sale.
Kit is for sale? You can actually build a kit.
No, I think kit's for sale.
Knight Rider, come on. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Michael. It's a talking car.
Yes, a talking
That
car.
did everything for you.
Turbo thrusters.
Turbo thrusters.
Uh,
It had the coolest console.
yeah. How many people had televisions in their cars in the 80s?
Nobody. He was it.
Knight Rider had 2.
He had a phone. He had
Yeah.
a CB. He had satellite,
Internet.
GPS.
Yeah, GPS.
That was cars of today, in the 80s.
Yeah,
that
1982, boom.
That was a precursor to what we have now,
Pretty much.
and it was dope. It could fly over things. And
Yeah,
I think it had
thrusters.
wings at one point.
So that's why when they redid it, they made a Mustang that can transform.
See, yeah, we're not even
So
going
in
to
20,
speak of
20
this.
years from
I
now,
can't.
that's what we'll have. in
I'm
our
not. I
car,
don't
right?
even feel dirty about the new series.
Are you
I watched that
serious?
from beginning to end.
Was it supposed to be Michael Knight or son?
It
of Michael
is.
Knight?
Bastard son.
It's a bastard stuff. Well, the Michael Knight character is like a 007 character.
Oh, so you
It's-
just throw that name around.
Yes,
huh?
he
Okay.
was another a military guy, and he had to go and then now he's part of this.
Espionage,
Yeah,
undercover.
yeah, super high.
Oh, I get that job. Just drive a cool car. And
Like Knight
Wear leather
on
jackets.
Be cool.
steroids.
Yeah, leather jackets. And
David Hasselhoff will come up
Thrusters.
again in our second segment, by the way.
I'm excited.
I have to. No, I'm not.
Oh,
I
for-
had.
For reference, one of the original kit cars went up for auction in September.
Oh, yeah, I think that's what I had heard.
35 and 40 grand. That's it?
35 and 40
Well,
grand.
it wasn't just one car. There were
Well,
many.
right, they were sure that they used for the show, but some of the original kit cars were going. I mean, that's still not that much.
No,
I
that's
mean,
not much.
A lot newer cars go
40
for,
grand for a kit for a
with the working. It's
a television.
yeah, replica or no, the
Present.
Pelican prop.
Yeah.
Yeah, the absolute prop. And this one I've seen lots of places. Next on your list here.
All right. Besides the all of the embarrassment of that roof, because everyone
Right.
has their own
Right.
feelings.
Right. But
Dukes
that
of-
didn't even come into play.
Not then, because it
True.
was the Dukes family, Dukes of Hazzard,
Yeah.
were so inviting to anyone that ever came to their table. But this is where my heart's at. I have endless amounts of Duke
Generally.
stuff. I do.
Yeah. I had the little stunt set back in the day when in the 80s.
The barn burner
You
set.
pull it back and it would go through like the barn and then the barrels. And
Yep, I have that car. I don't
That
have the
was cool.
set. I have the keyring car.
Nice.
I got a big one that the roof flips.
I was
But-
at a thing with Cooter when I was doing radio. He was set up across me with the General Lee.
Okay.
And we had a radio car for it was GRD at the time. When
Okay.
I was working there, they had some race car that went around Marne.
All right.
That was all, and it was right across the street from him. And we'd sit around most of the day before anybody really got there. Just hey, we'd get over
Is
and
that
talk.
Ben Jones.
Yeah, Ben Jones.
Ben Jones. Yeah, he was a
Super nice
governor.
Yeah, he was the governor down there. And,
Yep.
super nice guy.
I've been to
Real cool and laid back.
2 of his stores. I think there's a third that I haven't been to
Huh.
yet. Because
Really?
he's got one in Gatlinburg.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
there's
yeah.
one in Nashville.
I
The
knew about
Nashville is
Gatlinburg.
the big.
Wow.
That's actually a pretty
And
decent
he still
size.
does his thing and represents
does.
the Dukes. And
He really
that's-
does.
That's really cool.
40th anniversary is this year
Did
of
you,
Dukes of Hazzard.
Did you watch the remake of that one?
Which ones?
Well, I know they came back and they had
There's
cousins.
There's 2 Dukes original series.
The movie with the Sean William Scott and Johnny
Yes,
Knoxville,
I
which was
did.
Broken Lizard,
Yes, Broken Lizard.
which makes it
Super Troopers.
instantly funny.
Yes.
Which it was pretty funny,
In most
considering who was in it. No,
Ben Jones was the biggest opponent to that movie. He's
Right.
like, no.
No, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I can still watch that. I can watch Generally Jump Over stuff all day. What are you talking about? I've always wanted to drive the Charger.
Matter of fact, one of our producers, Rob, behind the cameraman, I was living out in Allendale, and I didn't have cable, and on TNN, which
Yeah, the Nashville Network.
the Nashville network,
Yeah.
Rob would record tapes for me
Nice.
and send them home like as care packages. We would actually send it
That's
back
sweet.
and forth. So Rob's been video support since.
Of Dukes of Hazzard.
For-
You've been his supplier.
Yeah, you have helped to continue the fix.
You're his Duke enabler. Good job. What is this? Okay, we got to do Roger's list. He's not
Let's
here
hear
with
Roger's.
us. He's
Honor-
here in spirit.
Roger is here in spirit.
He is here in spirit. Honorable mention of Roger. Oh, is that him now? Is that him calling us?
The Roger
Who
phone.
doesn't turn on the ringer on a live show? These guys. We'll start Roger's list backwards. We'll do TV first.
Sounds
Because
good.
he's not here, we can do it however we want. He's not here to stop us. His, of course, like ours, the A-Team.
If Roger were an A-Team member, who would he be?
Hannibal?
Yeah,
I think I could see him as more of a wiser.
loves it when a
Hannibal,
plan comes together.
Loves it when a plan comes together. Right.
So
Next on his list, Magnum,
Magnum
PI.
PI.
Another one of the best mustaches
best
in
mustaches
Hollywood.
on TV,
Hawaiian shirts, just rolling around Hawaii, fighting helicopters. Another badass car.
and being a Michigan guy,
Yep.
had the Detroit hat.
Yep, he always had the Detroit hat. He had
Yep.
his butler and a sidekick, and it was a cool show.
Yes.
It was a cool show. Set in a cool locale, and yeah, Tom Selleck a lot like your Burt Reynolds.
Oh yeah,
Um,
the '80s Burt Reynolds.
Battlestar Galactica. No, Buck Rogers.
Beep 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 beep.
It is Buck Rogers. I'm so dumb. The original Buck Rogers.
Yes.
Which came.
Not the other two
I
reboots.
think there was 2 reboots, but yeah, I remember Twiggy.
Yep.
Beady, beady,
Beady, beady, beady,
I
beady.
have diabetes.
That's all I remember is Twiggy.
I think that's all anybody remembers. It was just kind of like a playoff of the Star Wars.
Yeah. Well,
Success and stuff like that. But Buck Rogers has been around for a long time.
yes, yes.
And I
Comic
think that's
series.
why it's on Roger. I'm not going to speak for Roger, but I'm pretty sure because of his love of the 50s and nostalgia and
Sure.
things of that nature, as you can tell by his vests most of the time.
The space age.
The space age and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, that's what gave us shows like that. This one I wanted to put on my list because it's one of my favorites. I love William Katt. I loved him in the movie House, and this show I actually still have the 45 of the soundtrack with the theme song, lyrics and instrumental of The Greatest American
Oh
Hero.
yeah, the instrumental only because they would play that
He
through
could.
the.
Aliens came and dropped off his suit. Wasn't supposed to go to him, but he winds up with it. He can't fly for shit.
Yeah.
He's just the worst superhero, but he is the greatest American hero.
He is the greatest American.
Somehow, in the end, it all comes to
Such
pass.
a
Lasted-
catchy theme song.
It was a
lasted
catchy
what?
theme song.
2 seasons?
I
One
think
season?
so. But it was still so good. It was so cool, and
It was
became
so
this
good and so
pop
bad.
thing, you know
It
what I
did.
mean? And it still stands the test for people. Well, I can't say that. But when William Katt came to our con in town,
Yeah,
they didn't have a very good turnout, and I had to try to keep mentioning him because I was doing the MC.
you were doing the radio.
I was doing the MC duties.
Okay.
For the Comic Con.
All right.
And then I would just be like, make sure, hey, William Katt's still here. Make sure and get, you know what I mean? I have to keep pushing that and pushing that, and I felt so bad.
Yeah.
He's such a nice guy, and he was just getting so frustrated. And I'm like, that's weird to see, I guess the deterioration of a status. You know what
Sure.
I mean? To where you're at that point. People are like,
Charlie from the original Chocolate Factory is
Yeah.
here.
oh,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Miami Vice, which of course we covered. A lot of cocaine, Ronald Reagan, pastels, and synth pop.
Synth
that
pop
was
and
big.
cocaine.
Yep. That was the 80s. I
Yeah.
mean, that's if you ever want to explain the 80s to anyone, like a child or not child. Okay, don't explain
Yeah.
to a child. Somebody in their 20s, like, how was the 80s? Cocaine and Reagan. Boom. Synth pop.
Z28 Camaros,
Z28
cocaine.
Camaros.
Yeah, IROC Camaros and yeah.
Lamborghinis. Everybody wanted one for some reason.
All of us had a picture. Did you have a picture?
Of a Lamborghini?
Yeah.
And I had a bunch of Hot Wheels and stuff.
Okay.
For our reason, Lamborghinis. I mean, they were cool, but I'm not much of a supercar guy. I'm really not. Muscle cars,
Muscle
I
car.
love. Sedans from like the 40s, 30s,
Yeah.
40s. I like that style, but they're just too space age and pointy and Looks like you could go under a car and it just, you know. Yeah, there's things about it. I'm not a big fan.
Well,
We
it'd be
watch
good
a
in
lot
traffic.
we watch the Grand Tour and shows like that because my wife, she's a
Okay.
mechanic and she's big on cars. She loves cars. So we watch a lot of like the Grand Tour and what was that other one they had? Oh, Top Gear, stuff
Top
like that.
Gear.
Where, you know, and there's a few supercars that I've
There's
seen
Fifth Gear.
recently that I'm like, oh, well, that's actually kind of a cool style. You know, I'm not.
I like
against
they
them.
actually brought curves back to supercars.
Yeah, yeah,
So-
they had some nice. There's some. Yeah, well,
Yeah, sexy.
we'll talk about that off here. Yeah, they got some nice swoops going on.
Swoops.
Some nice swoops. On to Roger's movie list. which,
Strangely enough,
didn't show up on a lot of our lists, and I had an action figure, like a big, like Barbie-size action figure of him. I mean, it's Indiana Jones. It's Harrison Ford.
I wanted the hat.
One of the most iconic roles in the history of cinema. I mean, just even the silhouette of him that they show at the beginning, where
Yes.
it's just like the hat, he's got the stance with a whip in his hand. That's
Yep,
Indiana Jones.
Indiana
I could be
Jones.
half blind in one eye. That's Indiana Jones. He could be in the distance, and I got to squint. I know that's Indiana
Well, the last
Jones.
remake when they brought him back.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, and the Crystal Skull.
Yes.
When he was standing on the thing, you're like,
Yeah.
that makes me feel good, but you're so old, and this movie is so terrible. Die Hard.
Die Hard.
We're all in synchronicity on this. Production staff, Die Hard.
Yep.
Yep, Die Hard.
40 stories of sheer adventure.
And it really was. Well, mainly it was only, 25 up. I think.
25 stories of air ducts.
Of air ducts, and then 25 of action. Next on his list is, oh my god, one of my wife's favorite, Aliens.
I never got into it.
Aliens. Because Aliens was in the 80s, Alien was in the 70s.
It was the 70s.
So I found this out last night because this is what got my wife and I on Amazon. We could watch Galaxy of Terror, we watch Incubus, we watch Humanoids from the Deep, and they were all just...
Humanoids from the Deep.
They were some of the best knockoffs of Alien.
Sure.
And then moving in the 80s, actually, Forgotten World or Forbidden World was before Aliens. And there was a lot of imagery and stuff where you could see, like, Aliens, which came after, which is so strange to me. It's like, okay, well, who took from who? But even though it's still taken from Alien, it was complicated. We were drinking.
Sprinkles.
Right. All right, next is Snake Plissken. Escape from New York, or from L.A., or wherever the hell he was escaping from at the time. Snake Plissken, Kurt Russell did a great job with that character.
Kurt Russell,
Just real badass.
for me, an incredibly... One of the best action heroes,
Okay.
and never got credit for it. He's
Not
like,
really.
he's like, eh.
Yeah, but he was okay with it.
He was good.
And I like
Yeah.
that he came back as Star-Lord's dad in Galaxy. Guardians
Yes,
of the Galaxy.
a
That's-
Death Proof.
And Death Proof. Oh, yeah.
Stuntman
And he's
Mike.
done some cool characters.
Oh,
you know?
amazingly cool.
It's like he kind of did that Travolta thing where he just kind of came back in like a weird dark role, like a Tarantino style.
Yes.
Tarantino.
Quarantine.
All right, that's the end of the list?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it is not. We had brought him up, and how could we not talk about
Yes!
him again? He was an epitome of the 80s, which is why he was in Terminator. He was in Total Recall, Last Action Hero.
Last Action Hero.
He was an action hero. He was also Conan. He was
The
a fictional hero
Barbarian.
based on the books.
Yep.
Not the Marvel stuff at the time, because Marvel did a lot of their stuff, and then it went over to like Epic, I think. Epic Dickinson. Anyways,
It gets dirty there.
he was great. He actually wants to come back in an old man Conan
Really?
storyline. Like, but he let himself go while he did the governorship again.
Oh, he's
But
not as bulk
No,
as he
but
was.
he's felt it back up.
Yeah.
Like, he got toned back up a lot, because I guess he's going to be a lot different in the new Terminator.
They're bringing him back for another Terminator?
Yeah, you guys nobody's heard this? You guys don't know about this?
I saw him in the last Terminator.
They have some behind the scenes stuff. He's sporting a beard.
He was supposed to... Didn't he get killed off in the actual last
He's
Terminator?
gotten killed off in most of them.
But the idea was the Terminator was still, like,
The
he
last
got
of the series.
rebooted.
He got, right.
And I would protect you to the
But
end.
see, they went back and
And
they
they
messed
go,
with the timeline and some of the more recent
Oh.
ones again too. After they got rid of the Christian Bale one,
Went to the future,
They-
came back with a battery, rebooted.
right? And they kind of retold Judgment Day in Part 2 in that one movie with the kid who was in Godzilla and played Quicksilver. I can't think of his name. I can't even keep up
Well,
anymore.
but I understand this Terminator is
Right.
the sequel to Terminator 2.
The last one.
No.
Not to Genesis.
What?
No, it's like going back to like original time.
Because they okay. You
It's
know
a
we're
pre-
Okay, it's Linda Hamilton
A
again.
pre-sequel.
right. It is Linda Hamilton again. It is. You're right. Thank you, production staff. All right, what's next? That was it.
That's it.
That's
That was
it.
it. All right, we're going to move on into our intermission, so we can take a few minutes, get a word in for our sponsor, not sponsor, Puck Cider. They're wonderful, delicious. I'm going to crack one open. You know what? We'll crack one open on intermission. We'll be good and light by the time you guys
There
come
you go.
back. It'll be good.
Put that there.
Yeah, we'll keep it pretty this time. Just start away. All right, so intermission music. I think you need to hear. It doesn't always show up when you guys want to hear it. You might have to go back to our show on YouTube. We'll start putting playlists. We're trying something new. It'll be fun, but we'll be right back.
Yes.
Woo!
At Schaefer Orchards, our hard cider is so good, it pours itself. Don't believe me? Oh, I got you. Puck cider.
Little girls of about 6 or 7 were asked, what do they like to do? And then, sometime later, the same question was asked in a slightly different form. They were asked, what do little girls like to do?
I've got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I've got a red pair of high heels on. Tumble me over, it doesn't take much. Tumble me over, tumble me push. In my red high heels, I've no control. The rituals of impression are so old. You can do what you like, there'll be no
So give me more, give me less. I don't need you to confess. Tell me what you don't know. I'll show you where I go. Oh yeah. So wicked, bad or able, I don't really need to ask. I can cross the Rubicon at last. Hanging out in discotheques, hanging out in bars. I ask when you will rock my world, you tell me that you are. Oh yeah, it could have been so good. So is it you, is it me? Can you fight a war for free with the word, a knife, a replica of life? Oh yeah, it could have been so good. There was a close encounter, but did it leave a mark? I'm heading for the moon as soon as I get to embark. Good, bad, or able, I don't really need to ask. I can cross the Rubicon at last. I thought I heard your signal, but it could have been the trains. Thought that I was wet, that it was rain. Oh yeah, it could have been so good. Now you're causing such a scene, and I know just what you mean about the time, the place. You should have seen your face. Oh yeah, it could have been so good. There was a close encounter, but did it leave a mark? I'm heading for the moon as soon as I get to embark. Good, bad, or able, I don't really need to ask. I can cross the Rubicon at last. I can cross the Rubicon at last. Lounging in the gutter, look at you, you're a star. I tell you that I'm lying, you said I know you are. Oh yeah, it could have been so good. So is it you, is it me? Can you fight a war for free with a word, a move, a replica of love? Oh yeah, it could have been so good. Good, bad, or able, I don't really need to ask. I can cross the Rubicon at last. I can cross the Rubicon at last.
You're walking in the woods. There's no one around and your phone is dead. Out of the corner of your eye, you spot him. He's following you, about 30 feet back. He gets down on all fours and breaks into a sprint. He's gaining on you.
Shia LaBeouf.
You're looking for your car, but you're all turned around. He's almost upon you now, and you can see there's blood on his face. My God, there's blood everywhere!
Running for your life from Shia LaBeouf. He's brandishing a knife, it's Shia LaBeouf. Lurking in the shadows. Hollywood superstar Shia LaBeouf. Living in the woods, Shia LaBeouf. Killing for sport, Shia LaBeouf. Eating all the bodies. Actual cannibal Shia LaBeouf.
Now it's dark, and you seem to have lost him. But you're hopelessly lost yourself, stranded with a murderer. You creep silently through the underbrush. Aha! In the distance, a small cottage with a light on. Hope. You move stealthily toward it, but your leg! Ah! It's caught in a bear trap!
Gnawing off your leg, limping to the cottage.
Quiet, quiet.
Now you're on the doorstep, sitting inside. Shia LaBeouf, sharpening an axe. Shia LaBeouf, but he doesn't hear you enter. Shia LaBeouf, you're sneaking up behind him. Strangling superstar Shia LaBeouf, fighting for your life with Shia LaBeouf. Wrestling a knife from Shia LaBeouf, stab it in his kidney. Safe at last from Shia LaBeouf.
You limp into the dark woods, blood oozing from your stump leg. You've beaten Shia LaBeouf.
Wait, he isn't dead. Shy surprise, there's a gun to your head and death in his eyes, but you can do jujitsu. Body slam superstar Shia LaBeouf, legendary fight with Shia LaBeouf. Normal Tuesday night for Shia LaBeouf. You try to swing an axe at Shia LaBeouf, but blood is draining fast from your stump leg. He's dodging every swipe. He parries to the left. You counter to the right. You catch him in the neck. You're chopping off his head now. You have just decapitated Shia LaBeouf.
His head topples to the floor, expressionless. You fall to your knees and catch your breath. You're finally safe from Shia LaBeouf.
Some people think little girls should be seen and not heard, but I think, oh, bondage! Up yours! 1, 2, 3, 4! Bondage!
begin to eat the dust of Baja California.
It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure. It's a great pleasure to have all of you here today. I thought you all might begin your tour here.
Senator, welcome to our microphone.
Is there anything of yours that we could keep as a memento of this visit?
Take California.
Hi, welcome back. It's Storytime with Uncle Punky. We were telling stories off the air. I was enjoying a delicious puck cider because it is delicious. It's crisp, it's refreshing, and it's made here locally, straight out of Conklin. I forgot where it is. I forgot where I lived for a minute there. So yeah, make sure you get those. They are sponsor, not sponsor. As you saw during the intermission, we got that rad commercial of theirs, and they were nice enough to let us play. So you know what they're about. They're about delicious ciders and orchards. It's pretty basic stuff, people. It's apples and it's alcohol, and it's awesome. And it's local, so support. And thanks for supporting us in our show. I'm sure if Roger were here, he'd say the same thing. He's not. I got Tim. He's a wonderful substitute, stuntman extraordinaire. We're not going to blow anything up here today. I wish we could.
Well,
the day's still early.
Young, yeah,
we're not done yet. And of course, sponsors, not sponsors. I mentioned Gavin from Chartie's Collector's Corner, which I'm rocking my brand spanking new shirt.
Nice.
I'm super proud of. They got some deals galore, old stuff, new stuff. They're always getting stuff. They go out to conventions and Comic-Cons, and they've gone as far as San Francisco, and they've hit the big ones. And they're very well versed, the both of them, and I love them to death. And you should love them too. Go see them at the corner of Burton and Eastern over there in Grand Rapids, Michigan, or you can find them on Facebook, online. Chartie's Collector's Corner.
Perfect.
And as far as we go, share and subscribe, always. We appreciate the love and appreciation you guys have been giving us recently, and it's been picking up and taking off. And we get to do things like this because you allow us to. Or else what's the point?
Yeah.
Talking to one person. I can sit home and talk to my wife about this all the time. Don't quite get the reaction I get from other people, but she's just used to it. We talked a little bit before and off the air during the intermission about catchphrases.
Yes.
The 80s action and catchphrases, they go hand in hand.
What was talked about in the schoolyard? You know, what did somebody see this weekend, and then all of a sudden it's in
yippee-ki-yay,
mother.
mofo.
Yeah.
You couldn't say it back then, but you know, you could do the yippee-ki-yay part. Your mom is
and people would still know exactly where you're referencing.
Ninja Turtles, Cowabunga.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember how many times I said that. Hasta la vista, baby.
Yep. I'll be back.
I'll be back. I mean, every big action here. I mean, even in TV, like we talked about the A-Team. I love it when a plane comes together.
Yep, love it when a plane.
That was big on him.
I'll pity the fool.
I pity the fool. That was BA's. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, everybody had that something, you know, that you would just. I mean, nowadays, like my wife and I quote random weird stuff that we watch, and it's funny to us, like inside jokes, as most married couples do have, and stuff like that. But
couples joke.
Some do.
Oh, that's cool.
We do.
All right.
I don't know. I can't speak for others, but
yeah.
We're doing fine. But you know, like a lot of the riff tracks or the Mystery Science Theater we watch, they'll make some comment about a movie. We'll be watching another movie, and it's relevant, or it has the same actor, and that joke just works, and we're like, ha ha. But you know, people don't, like you said, they're kind of. Everybody's on the internet and the social media and stuff, but they're kind of removed from that social, that connectivity of like movies and stuff like that. Because back then we didn't have internet. We barely had phones. I mean, you could call your friend.
Well, yeah.
Are you home? Are you not home? Well, you're not home.
Are you going to be home in
must
20
outside,
minutes?
or you're out riding your bike. I'm going to ride my bike till I find you. That's what you did.
Oh,
and then
that was a lot of missions.
It was a lot of missions. Wherever you found bikes thrown in a yard, they're over there.
Yeah, that's where friends were.
Billy got a new Sega game. Oh, that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But you know, it was a simpler time, an easier time, as it were. But it was fun. You know, like I said, I was brought up by the 80s and all that action and stuff. And I mean, I'm not violent by any means. I do appreciate the violence in a lot of the movies that came out of it. And the toy lines that came with it were just so exquisite. I mean, like I mentioned the Star Wars one, but A-Team had figures.
A-Team had, yeah.
We mentioned the Dukes of Hazzard.
Dukes
You
of
have some
Hazzard.
items. They had figures. Like Fall Guy had figures.
Yeah, Fall Guy.
RoboCop had figures. Terminator has. I mean, they still have figures that they're putting out for some of these because they got reboots. So RoboCop got a reboot. They got a new figure. I don't think it sold very well or did good at all. But also, as far as spinning off things go, there were a few of the big action movies that got spun off on the TV.
Sure.
Or in some manner of speaking, RoboCop I think had an animated series, but he also had this one, the series.
Yeah, the series.
What was it? Dark something. What was it called?
Dark Justice.
Dark Justice. Yeah. So RoboCop was no longer Peter Weller, some other guy that they got as a RoboCop, because somebody's got to keep the city safe.
Someone died in Detroit and became a robot.
Yeah. But apparently it's the same character that was in the movies, just different actor, and he has a best friend. Something happens to, they make him a RoboCop, and then they butt heads for a bit.
It was his lieutenant when he was a cop before.
Bad programming, and they butt heads for a minute, and then they're buddies, and then they're buddy RoboCops.
Good cop, bad cop.
Good RoboCop, bad RoboCop, I guess. I'm not sure how it worked, but you can actually find those on Amazon. There's a few of them on there. We talked Terminator. They've had some more recent Sarah Connor Chronicles. Which I actually thought was a really good series. And I had heard that, too. And, besides video games, I know there's a lot of video games. Oh, Dukes of Hazzard. The Dukes, which was their animated show. So they got turned into an animated from a TV series.
From TV.
To more TV. Yeah.
Let's just take the hype of anything and just splatter it all over.
And they did get a movie.
Yep.
More, well, not recent. I guess it would have been.
05 was when the...
05. When had Johnny Knoxville.
Yep.
Yeah, Broken Lizard. It was Broken Lizard, the guys who brought you Super Troopers and Club Dread and Slam and Salmon and a bunch of other good features, which are hilarious. But
Beer Fest.
Yeah, Beer Fest. And they did...
Boot.
Yeah, and they did Dukes of Hazzard with Willie Nelson
as
Jesse.
Uncle Jesse.
Johnny Knoxville and Sean William Scott. I thought it was funny.
He makes a pretty good bow, actually.
He really does. They both did a pretty... And I'm not ashamed to say that I enjoyed that movie. What Shooter McGavin was... Boss Hogg, wasn't he?
On the...
Burt Reynolds.
In the 05 movie,
with
those guys,
one. Okay.
was Burt Reynolds.
Was Burt Reynolds.
And then there was a second movie...
Right.
That was Duke's, young.
Like a general... Right,
which had...
Like a prequel.
Correct.
Right.
Who had...
Shooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin.
Nice.
The actor that formerly played Shooter McGavin.
I remembered it. I'm so proud of myself.
Yes.
See, there was something else I'd remember from eventually.
But still had Willie Nelson as Uncle Jesse.
As Uncle Jesse, yeah. Well, Willie's got nothing else going on. Smoking weed and writing country songs.
Right.
That's what he does. And I mentioned video games, and we were literally just talking before we came back on. Rambo has a video game out now. We were at Dave & Buster's.
I want to go. Holidays. I got to check this out.
It's one of them, you got the gun, and you're killing things like John Rambo. I think you can do the 3 movies. You can pick where he's in the Iraq War, or the Desert Storm, or he's in Jungle, or Forest, whatever he was in the first one. You know what I mean? And then Alien. There's an Alien one. Remember there was an Alien.
There was a few different game systems that had.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Aliens. Yeah. Well, there was one that scared the hell out of me. It was for Xbox 360. I think it was like Nostromo or something like that. There was some Alien one that came out for the consoles that was pretty terrifying.
Is it?
Yeah, I had to stop playing it. They gave you like a pistol, 4 shots, and like, here's an alien. It's going to kill you. You're like 3 minutes into the game.
Oh, crap.
No, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm terrified. Yeah. I'm playing in the dark. Everybody's asleep. I'm scared. Turn it off. I don't play this anymore. I don't like it. Who else? Die Hard. Die Hard Trilogy. Die Hard. They had one for PlayStation that was awesome. That had it had like an overview one of Nakatomi where you're like looking down at the character as he's going through like a shooter.
Navigate.
Yeah. And then the second one was you had the target that moved across the screen while you shot the terrorist. Like almost one of those stand-up shooting ones. Okay. Except you just had a joystick to do it. So that had to do with the second movie where there was a lot of shooting.
Right.
And then the third one was a driving game.
Okay.
So it was broke down between the 3 movies. Sure. So you had 3 different game styles for 3 different movies. I thought it was brilliant. Or no, PlayStation. That was on PlayStation. Okay. The original PlayStation. And that was dynamite. That was a really good one. The Dukes of Hazzard, you mentioned, had one on PlayStation 2.
PlayStation 2, I believe, was the first format for it, and Dukes came out with I think 3 games total.
Yeah, I remember that the first one that came out on PS2 because it was just like a rally car pretty much. You're just driving this Charger.
Yeah, you're just driving the Chargers
and jumping over stuff, mud, swamps. It was pretty basic elements of your
basic
driving game.
Yeah.
But it was cool for what it was. It made the horn noise.
Yep, you can make
the generally horn noise. Music, because this is the part where we try to tie things together. Comic books, actually. Conan, as I mentioned, a big staple of the 80s. That had comic book series that came out. Schwarzenegger, I don't think there was much else involved with him. Action 80s, I don't even think the Dukes ever made it into any kind of print besides maybe a magazine of some form.
They had their own little comic line, but...
Yeah, I don't think it was any... I don't recall
I think it was Warner Brothers band.
Oh, really? Yeah. Huh. That's interesting. Aliens, now there's Aliens and Predators have all kinds now. I mean, all kinds of tie-ins and
subgenre and
subgenres and games, and they showed up in Mortal Kombat most recently. And they were actually talking about putting RoboCop.
That would be brilliant. Yeah. I actually really like that idea.
Well, you just have to stand back and shoot things in block. Like I said, we
he
mentioned
can block well.
What's he going to do? Is he going to roundhouse kick something? How's he going to do that? His ears don't allow, with the weird hip placement into the socket of his robotics.
Well, his
I'm
hand
not a
cannon
scientist.
comes out of his thigh. So
Right. It would take a scientist to explain it. I am not that.
No.
So, and as far as music, the 80s action, David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff.
David Hasselhoff was a huge music star in the 80s. Germany ate him up.
Loved him.
Loved him.
Yes.
Germany, I think, still thinks that he's just the bee's knees over there.
Well,
musically.
I think we're all looking for freedom. I've been looking for freedom.
Yeah, that's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that one for the soldiers.
When the wall came down.
The wall came
Yeah.
down. He's been, I mean, they all had equally good theme songs. Like A-Team had very powerful, Terminator, the dun 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 dun.
Mm-hmm.
Dun, dun, dun. It's very, you know what that is. Alien didn't really have one. It's just a bunch of quiet, ambient sound.
And
that
then
would
random
happen.
screeches.
And then, yeah. I mean, but, the Dukes had, just a good old...
Yeah, Waylon Jennings.
Waylon Jennings. Spectacular. You knew what it was. You
Yep.
could hear it, you'd be like, it's Dukes Hazzard.
Yep.
They're like, well, no, it's Waylon Jennings. No, it's Dukes
No,
Hazzard,
it's Dukes
sir.
Hazzard.
You are mistaken.
Sir.
No, sir, that's paper. As far as other music, can we... I mean, Bruce Willis, of course, Return of Bruno.
Yep.
Big action star.
I'm trying to actually think of one of the songs.
He did, I think he did a version of Under the Boardwalk. And, man.
I'm trying to think of the one where he's actually shooting pool.
Oh,
respect.
Respect yourself.
Yeah.
Hey, 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 hey. Man, we gotta start playing clips of that, I think. Well, maybe that's what we'll play next week during intermission. Bruce Willis's
Bruce
Return of
Willis.
Bruno. I don't think he'd be
turned
mad.
into Madonna there for a minute.
She went the other way. He went that, you know what I mean? Because she was in Dick Tracy and Desperately Seeking Susan.
Dick Tracy.
I remember Eddie Murphy sang a song.
He does.
Yeah, he's
Party
still
All the Time.
recording.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. And he's got a voice that doesn't match up with
It's gotten
the
better.
typical voice. I know, but when he did Party All the Time,
Yeah.
it
No.
didn't sound like Eddie Murphy
No.
Yeah.
at all. And of course, the Shrek movies.
Yep.
He sang a lot in those. I
Yeah.
think he did the Smash Mouth song, which God help us all. All right. Tim, you got anything going on coming up? Anything?
New being exciting. There's
No?
a Toy Expo that's
Okay.
going to be coming up. Though actually, the flyer that I had, March, and I believe that's going to be over in Detroit.
Okay. Yeah.
So I got to check with that for times and dates because I want to be present, at least watch the feed for the show coming up.
On the 2nd.
Yeah.
Oh, I should probably tell everybody about that.
Yeah.
I'll tell everybody about that. Let's tell everybody.
Yeah.
On March 2nd, I got a friend coming in from Detroit. We're going to talk about bad movies. B movies, bad, however you want to rate these movies, they're awful. And my wife and I personally, we watch a lot of them. And he actually is making himself a career out of some of the best B movies, trauma movies.
It's such a special
Trauma
place.
Video is, for those of you who don't know, that's your Toxic Avenger, Sergeant Kabuki Man, NYPD.
Yes.
Tromeo and Juliet. there's-
Nuke 'em High.
They do it for the fans. I mean, they still put things on video.
Yes, they do.
On VHS releases. I mean, there's a few documentaries that we watched about the VHS revolution and some of the stuff that's still going on, and they're putting them out.
Yeah.
Why not? Your fans are asking for it. They got working VCRs. Give them what they want.
Exactly.
And Lloyd Kaufman. I mean, that guy is just—he's brilliant with what he does for his fans. You know what I mean? They're not making anything.
No.
I mean, they're still like in a warehouse somewhere in New York on this building they've been paying rent on for 40 plus years, well, however long it's been. I mean, it's just. But he showed up in Guardians of the Galaxy. Lloyd Kaufman. He was one of the prisoners up on the railing. I'm like, Lloyd Kaufman? IMDb. I'll be damned.
I did
Lloyd
not know
Kaufman.
that.
Yeah, go where you want to go, man. He's got quite a popularity following, though.
Yeah.
Still. But Addison, my friend who's coming, Addison Beck, coming from Detroit, he does a Masterpiece Theater, which is a lot like a Mystery Science Theater style. Trauma videos.
Totally
See,
joking.
so if you're not out of town, you come back, you can hang out with us.
I'd
and we'll
love to
talk
just
trauma.
hang out.
No, we got plenty of couch space. We'll kick
I'm going to have to
Roger.
trauma marathon
That's
it.
what Roger gets for taking a day off. We're going to shove him to the very end of the couch. Be like, you sit over there. Don't make any eye contact.
Bad
Don't talk to
Roger.
anybody. You're being punished. All right, so Tim, it's great, man. I'm
Yeah,
glad you
thanks.
you had some big shoes to fill. Any monkey.
The couch is comfy. Thanks, Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Roger.
Yeah,
any
appreciate
monkey
it.
could do this job. Let's be honest. If you have an inkling to talk about anything, find a way to get out there and talk about it. That's what we did. We talk about pop culture. We do it for you, and we want you to come back as often as possible. We'll do it every Saturday. Storytime with Uncle Punky. Share, subscribe, YouTube, Twitch, SoundCloud. We got the audio for you.
SoundCloud,
If
yes.
you don't want to stare at our pretty faces, and I don't know why you wouldn't, but it's your prerogative. Live your life.
Handsome devils, I'm just
Live
saying.
your life. Yeah, I don't know anything about your physiology.
Twinning hair.
Twinning hair, that's
Yeah.
right. Does yours go up that high? Mine stuck where it's at. All right, the next
that's a
Storytime. Stay tuned for next Saturday. I'll give you details on what we'll talk about, and then we'll do it again. Ciao.
Thanks.
Bye. Yeah.